let's go out on a positive note, okay? Here's something I think you want to know. I've been looking at the poll numbers, and Americans like the resistance a whole lot more than they like Donald Trump. Now, that may make his orangeness upset. He may tweet about it late at night if he figures it out that it's going on, but it's good news for you and me. And obviously, I use the term resistance loosely, but I'm talking specifically about poll reactions to the Women's March. Given, and especially, I love the fact that the Women's Marches were way more popular than Trump, because, of course, we know how he is about what Melania calls locker room talk. So he needs to know he's been humiliated by women, by the women of America. Look, first of all, let's get to the numbers. They're irrefutable, okay? His approval rating by 2 weeks had sunk to a historically low 42%. Only 42% of people polled approved of Donald Trump. You know what percentage of people polled approved of the women's marches? 60%. We are killing them, okay? Only 29% of those polled disapproved of the women's marchers, but 54% of those polled disapproved of Trump's performance as president. Now, in addition, and I just throw this out there because I love saying it any chance I get, in late January, public policy polling found that 40% of voters, that's 4 in 10, already thought Trump ought to be impeached. They don't like you, Mr. President. They really don't like you. Now, the marchers, let's also compare the marchers. Let's look forward to the future. You know, the Tea Party came along. They got all the press attention. They took over the Republican Party. They and their fellow fanatics now control all 3 branches of the federal government. And, okay, let's compare the Women's March, the anti-Trump protests led by women, to the Tea Party at a similar point in its history. More than twice as popular as the Tea Party when it first came up. 60% of people polled, reminding you, approved of the women's marches, and 33% strongly approved. At the same time in the Tea Party's history, only 27 people approved of them, less than half, and only 17% strongly approved. So you've got a women's movement, an anti-Trump movement led by women that it's already more than twice as popular as the Tea Party, which gets us to our next point. Where do we go from here? We've got momentum. And since these polls were taken, we've had the anti-Muslim ban marches. The people are on our side, but they're not just on our side in the revulsion toward Trump, although we all share that. They're on our side on the issues. Now, I won't go through all those numbers with you now because we don't have time, but Trump's deregulating Wall Street. They want it regulated. Trump's deregulating the EPA. They want more regulation. Actually, the latest polls show that they don't like the Muslim ban, on and issue after issue. The public is with us. So we have to make sure we have an anti-Trump movement that is also a pro-movement, that also stands for something as well as against something. It's our job to do that. Now let's go out and do it.